barring injury, he is certain to set a new NFL record for most catches in a season by a tight end. He's that close. He's Jason Witten of the Dallas Cowboys, who moments ago spoke with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Jason, it's been an up and down season for the Cowboys. You're 5-6 right now, but the playoffs are still within reach. What makes you confident that you guys can put on a December run and get to the postseason?
Well, we've been confident all year. We've had some big wins, had some tough losses, so just take it one game at a time. Obviously, this is a tough division opponent. We need this one tonight.
You know Philadelphia's defense as well as anybody, but this version of the Eagles' defense doesn't resemble the ones we've come to know. They've had trouble getting to the quarterback. They've given up a lot of big plays. Where do you see opportunities for success against them tonight?
Well, it's going to be a tough game, and they got a lot of veterans on there. I know it's been a tough streak for them here the last few weeks, but we're going to play hard. We need to take advantage of it early in the game, some passes down the field, take our shots.
Jason, thanks very much.
Thanks.
And recently released defensive end Jason Babin for Philadelphia will be replaced by third-year player Brandon Graham. As for the Cowboys, they'll be without nose tackle Jay Ratliff for the second straight game, 6th of the season. And Al, they're also without nickelback Orlando Scandrick and safety Charlie Pepper tonight.
All right, thank you, Michelle. They'll get no sympathy, of course, from the Eagles minus 3 big stars. Standings now in the NFC East. The Giants play Washington tomorrow night. So Dallas here tonight either goes to 6-6 or 5-7. In terms of the wild card hunt, in a wild one in Chicago today, Seattle prevailed in overtime, beat the Bears. Right now, if the season stopped at this moment, Chicago and Seattle would be the wild card teams, and those other teams are still in the hunt as we turn the calendar to the month of December. Philadelphia won the toss, elected to receive. That is Dan Bailey ready to kick off for the Dallas Cowboys, and Brandon Boykin, 4th round draft choice, rookie out of Georgia, to run it back, a 23-yard average, which is about the league average for running back kickoffs. Ready to go from Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And Sunday Night Football underway with a touchback. And let's take a look at the Philadelphia starters.
Nick Foles, Arizona. Bryce Brown, 8th grade, Wichita Cowboys. Stanley Avili, USC.
Jeremy Mackin, Mizzou Tigers.
Riley Cooper, Florida.
Brent Selleck, Cincinnati.
Kane Dunlap, Auburn.
Evan Mathis, Alabama.
Dallas Reynolds, Brigham Young University.
Jake Scott, Idaho.
Dennis Kelly, Purdue.
Trying to find the right pieces along that offensive front. Both teams have issues along the offensive line. We start from the 20-yard line. Foles, the rookie out of Arizona, making his 3rd start. He'll start with play action, and he's going to get whacked. He tries to get the ball out, and the pass is ruled incomplete. And that is DeMarcus Ware, and he figures to have a field day tonight, coming in from the blind side, and Foles is able to get his arm back and throw it and create the incomplete pass instead of a sack fumble.
Well, Brent Selleck's a pretty good player, but no way he's blocking DeMarcus Ware on the outside. And for a young quarterback, there's your nightmarish start. You pump it one time, and DeMarcus Ware hits you in the back.
That makes it 2nd down and 10 from the 20. Out of the gun now, he's flanked by Bryce Brown. So you've got a rookie quarterback and a rookie running back. And here goes Brown, who had a big night on Monday against Carolina, and he gets taken out of bounds by Danny McRae. So Michael Vick had the concussion which he sustained in the last game against Dallas 3 weeks ago. Foles took over, made his debut in that game. He has started 2 since. He was picked in the 3rd round. He is 6'6". Originally was going to go to Arizona State, left there when Dirk Cutter was fired, went to Michigan State for a while, and then to Arizona. So Vick's backup is now the Philadelphia quarterback, at least until Vick gets healthy, and he hasn't passed his concussion protocol. 3rd and 12. And the pass is caught on a slant by Riley Cooper out to the 35-yard line. So that gets Philadelphia out of an early hole with a 1st down.
The old double slant route at the top of the screen. You're going to just take away the inside presence with this move, and then Riley Cooper on the outside. But for Nick Foles, he's just going to stare right down and doesn't care. He's a Dallas kid. Played here in high school. What did he tell us? He had a jumbotron at his high school.
Big time. Actually went to the same school as the Saints quarterback Drew Brees, a few years apart. On 1st down, the pass is incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. And let's take a look at that Cowboy defense.
Marcus Spears, Louisiana State University.
Josh Brent, Illinois.
Jason Hatcher, Grambling State.
Anthony Spencer, Purdue.
Dan Connor, Penn State.
Ernie Sims, Florida State.
DeMarcus Ware, Troy University.
Brandon Carr, Grand Valley State.
Danny McCray, LSU Tigers.
Gerald Sensabaugh, North Carolina.
Morris Claiborne, LSU.
Claiborne, their top draft pick, traded up in the draft to get him. Their priority in the offseason was to shore up the back end of that defense. And now they give it to Brown to the outside, and Brown can't go anywhere. Forced out of bounds by Spencer. So with LaShawn McCoy, their workhorse, out, it is Brown. Bryce Brown, a very interesting case. In high school in Wichita, Kansas, same city that produced Barry Sanders, he was maybe as big a star high school prospect as there was. He was going to go to Miami, then he decided no. Then he goes to Tennessee for a while and plays sparingly. Lane Kiffin leaves there to go to SC. Then he's thinking about going to SC. No. Then he wants to transfer to Kansas State. Eventually he does that, plays one game and leaves school. So the other week he makes his last Monday night was his first start since high school. 3rd down and 9. And Foles throws, and that is caught, and this is Selleck, and Selleck trying to bull his way to a first down and will be very close and appears to have it at the 44-yard line. First down, Philadelphia.
Boy, that is back-to-back big conversions right there. Here's Selleck. He's just going to come out and sit down, trying to help a little bit on Spencer in the pass rush, and then just takes over from there, just fights his way for the first down. So if you had any question about the Eagles' fight in this one, don't.
From the 44. Double tight end set here. Ernie Sims showing blitz. They'll run it with Brown. And there's Brown getting tripped up after a gain of 5, taking it to the 49-yard line where he's tackled by Sims. 2nd and 5.
You know, we talked about the 178 yards for Bryce Brown a week ago, but he also had 2 fumbles in that game, and already you can see him occasionally letting that ball swing away from his body. Not much experience at all. And in the NFL, you learn in a hurry. You swing that ball out away from your body just a little bit. These guys know how to get it, and the Cowboys are going after it tonight. They've seen it on tape, too.
Charles Tillman, watching on television in Chicago, probably salivating right now. 2nd and 5 to the outside, and Brown will try to turn the corner, but cannot. He's run out by Claiborne and by Spencer for a loss. And it will be 3rd down and 11 on a loss of 6 yards.
Well, here you'll see him watch the ball sort of swing away from his body here. And you see that? That thing needs to be tucked up against his bicep, into his chest. 4 points of pressure. That's about 1.5 points right there. That's the 3rd time already in this game he's tried to bounce it outside, and you don't do that in this league.
3rd and 11. Brown and Stanley Havili flanking the quarterback as Foles has good protection this time, and then shoots one underneath for Brown, and Brown will take the ball to the 48-yard line of the Cowboys, but about 2 yards shy of a first down, and the Eagles will punt.
Well, Nick Foles very patient that time, trusting these offensive linemen. Watch his eyes. He's going through the whole progression. The problem was the progression only left one guy to check it down to, but last week in the game, I thought Foles was way too quick to try and run out of the pocket and make a play. Tonight he's standing in there trying to step up. Looks much better.
Matt McBriar, who spent a lot of seasons in a Cowboy uniform, is the Philadelphia punter. Harris is back, and he will call for a fair catch at the 13-yard line, and that's where Tony Romo and his group will go to work in the first quarter at Cowboy Stadium. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Windows 8. By BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. And by Walmart, more gifts, more Christmas from America's gift headquarters, Walmart. Some of the artwork here at Cowboys Stadium, they didn't miss a beat here. When they constructed this, it's been open since 2009. And a lady on the left, Jean Jones, Jerry's wife, did all of the interior decoration and did a masterful job at it. As DeMarco Murray makes his first run since back in October, and it's a good one. He's been out with a sprained foot And Murray, who's missed 6 games, gallops for 14 yards and a first down.
Well, you could see just a little limp there in DeMarco Murray, just as he's running down. Nice block up front by Lawrence Vickers, but just a trace of a limp, and you just wonder, he knew he wasn't going to be 100% in this one, but he just felt like the time was running out, the season's on the line, he was just going to play.
From the 28-yard line, he starts to slip, but maintains his balance and turns that into an 8-yard gain, stopped by Asamoah. Let's take a look at the Cowboy offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma.
Miles Austin, Monmouth University.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State. Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Sean Phillips, Virginia. Tyron Smith, USC.
Nate Livings, LSU.
Ryan Cook, New Mexico.
Mackenzie Bernardo, Bentley.
Doug Free, Northern Illinois.
Cowboys come up quicker to the line again, as with Philadelphia struggling up front with the interior, and this time Murray goes nowhere and Cullen Jenkins makes the stop, and that'll make it 3rd down and 2.
Well, the Eagles made an adjustment. They're not big guys on the defensive line, and they know it. So now what they come back with? 5 defensive linemen. This has been their adjustment when teams start pounding the football on them, and really that's been happening more than they would have hoped. So they come in and you start running the ball, you're going to see those big guys.
Todd Bowles took over after the bye week in October for Juan Castillo. Was the interim head coach of Miami for the last 3 games last year. And 3rd and long 2. Romo tries to get away and cannot. That is Brandon Graham. And one of the reasons they let Jason Babin go and Jacksonville picked him up is he wanted to see Andy Reid did more of Brandon Graham. He likes what he saw there.
Yeah, Brandon Graham has been playing well lately, and unfortunately for the Cowboys, the guy trying to block him, Doug Free, has not. Free is one of the truly high-priced players on the Dallas Cowboys and has just not lived up to it this year.
Brian Moorman, the longtime Buffalo punter, came over after the start of the season. DeMaurice Johnson, a rookie out of Tulsa, is back there to run it back, but the kick is a short one that goes out of bounds at around the 34-yard line. 8:13 left in the opening quarter. No score. For the total viewing experience, check out Sunday Night Football Extra on NBCSports.com. Mike Florio and Michelle Tafoya, as always, and Roy Williams is our guest analyst tonight. Cowboys had a couple of Roy Williams. This is the defensive back, Roy Williams, who's fabled in NFL lore because the horse collar rule went in because of Roy Williams. And this is Brown on 1st down, and Brown into Cowboy territory, and Bryce Brown finally gets run out of bounds by Mike Jenkins, but Brown 24 yards.
Pretty good blocking on the old stretch play here. We've got Dennis Kelly right here just going to help cave this thing down on the backside. Just a push, and it opens up a gap on the backside. And one thing you notice when you watch Bryce Brown play is he'll cut it back, but he doesn't bounce it all the way back the way LaShawn McCoy can occasionally.
From the 42, called his number again. And he gets stood up after a gain of 3. The Cowboy defense, second-year coordinator Rob Ryan. Brother Rex got a win today, 7-6 over Arizona at the Meadowlands. It's interesting. Rob Ryan, you would think, is a very aggressive defensive coordinator. I mean, he just looks the part, right? But they blitz probably less than any team in the league.
Yeah, they bring 3-man pressure more than anybody, but he has plenty of those other blitzes dialed up. Plus, he's got a lot of guys hurt.
2nd down and 7. Off the play fake. This goes to the tight end, Selleck. And Selleck will take the ball to the 23-yard line where Danny McRae makes the tackle. And a 1st down on a 16-yard pickup.
I'll tell you, that was a clever play right there. They just hit him on the big stretch play to the left. Everybody moving that way. That time they took Selleck back out the other way. So everybody's going that way. And Selleck escapes the other way for that quick throw and a 1st down.
A little more than 6.5. Look at Andy in the background. And Reid telling us last night, hey, my guys are playing hard. I don't care what anybody is saying. They're playing hard in the first quarter tonight. The pass goes to the outside to DeMaurice Johnson, and he will set him up at the 10-yard line. Rookie out of Tulsa, had 5 receptions for 84 yards last week.
Just one of those.
Went to the school that produced Steve Largent.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, and he set an NCAA record for most all-purpose yards in college. One of the great kick returners ever in college, and you can see some of it, can't you? That little quick move, and Philadelphia Eagles looking pretty good on this drive.
Great minds think alike, right? And then there's us. First and goal at the 10. The Eagles right near the bottom in the red zone, and 5 turnovers in the red zone. They've been killed by turnovers this year. There goes Brown, untouched into the end zone. King Dunlop, through a nice block, took Ware out of the play, and Brown goes in untouched to give Philadelphia the lead.
Well, you know, pass rushers, they love to get up the field, and that time Dunlop able to turn out DeMarcus Ware. But really, probably the key block was from Evan Mathis. What a great reach block on the outside. And Bryce Brown, that was easy. That was some drive.
66 yards, 5 plays, 3 runs, and 2 passes. And Alex Henry for the point after. As McBride sets it down. And with 5.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter, the Philadelphia Eagles, big underdogs, strike first and lead 7-0 over the Cowboys. Oh yeah, Cowboy Stadium. Like we say, a little bit of something for everybody. 7-0 Philadelphia. 7 yards into the end zone, Dwayne Harris will down it there. And Tony Romo will go to work from his 20. 2 owners who both lived through a lot of frustration this year, Jerry Jones and Jeff Lurie. Jerry kind of used to the ups and downs of the Cowboys. For Jeff Lurie, it's been about the worst season the Eagles have experienced since the 90s. A 7-game losing streak. A lot of things to think about, and sooner or later we'll get to all of them tonight. First down, Romo throws it over the middle to DeMarco Murray for a gain of 7. Let's take a look at the Philadelphia defense.
Brandon Graham, Michigan. Cullen Jenkins, Central Michigan. Fletcher Cox, Mississippi State. Trent Cole, Cincinnati. Michael Kendricks, Cal. D'Amico Ryans, Roll Tide. Hakeem Jordan, James Madison. Dominique Roger Cromartie, Wakeland Elementary. Nate Allen, South Florida. Kirk Coleman, The Ohio State. Nnamdi Asamoah, Narbonne High School, UC Berkeley.
The defense has had a lot of trouble. They've given up 25 or more points in each of their last 6 games. They give the ball on an inside handoff this time to Murray, who picks up a first down up at the 33-yard line. So heavy dose of Murray early on, coming back from the foot sprain.
Well, you know it's a good play when you're pulling guard, turns up the field before he hits anybody about 5 yards down the field. And so far they have been wearing out the right side of this Philadelphia Eagles defense. Jason Witten, one of the better blocking tight ends as well, over there working on Vinny Curry, the young man drafted in the 2nd round this year.
Murray comes out, and Romo will go deep downfield, and it's broken up. Kevin Ogletree, who had a huge night in the opener at New York in September, and Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie back there to break it up. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
One thing you'll notice when you watch the Philadelphia Eagles play defense is they allow a lot of post routes. There's some defensive coordinators that just refuse to give you that throw. The Eagles tend to play their safeties looking sideways almost. A lot of sort of read defenses back there. You can throw the post about as often as you want.
Running back is Jones, the fake to him, and then Romo has to slide it out of his hands, just backhanded, because he was under pressure as Mike Patterson comes in to put the heat on him. So Tony Romo, the starter here since 2006, 165 touchdown passes. So his next one puts him on top. He's tied with Troy Aikman for the most in Cowboys history. And clearly, when he gets 166, that's going to make him elite, isn't it?
There's no doubt about it.
Is that the most overused phrase now to describe a quarterback?
Yeah. Tony Romo, I would think he would trade it all for about 150 yards rushing a game right now. That's been their Achilles heel.
Eli became elite again last week when he went by Sims, didn't he?
Sure did.
3rd down and 10. And Romo throws, and that's caught by Witten. Now with forward progress, did Witten get the first down? He had to get to the 43-yard line. It appears he will have it. Michael Kendricks stops him, and then Jeff Triplett so signals first down Dallas.
Well, if you can get this kind of protection, Tony Romo is going to go to work. Tyron Smith on the left side right here, their best offensive lineman up front, working against Trent Cole, who's just part of the issue this year. There's Brandon Graham and Doug Free on the other side. They get that settled.
From the 44-yard line, here goes Jones. Jones with two balky knees, but he's the guy who's had to shoulder the load over the last 6 weeks in the absence of Murray. Ryans makes the tackle. It'll be second down at 8.
Yeah, you have to admire Felix Jones a little bit. It's hard enough to play running back with one bad knee. He has two. He's been trying to just battle through it. He's going to relieve DeMarco Murray occasionally in this game, but you can tell that Murray, to some extent, felt like his running mate had carried the load long enough and decided to go out there injured himself.
Now they go with no backs and 5 wide on second down and 8. And Romo under pressure, avoids the sack, gets it away, caught by Cole Beasley, spinning around, and Beasley takes it to the 42. Beasley, a free agent rookie, played his college football here at SMU, playing a bigger part now in this Cowboy offense.
I'll tell you what, this is pretty fun to watch here. Cole Beasley on the outside. The Cowboys really struggled against man-to-man coverage against the Washington Redskins. They decided that Cole Beasley, a free agent who left the team during training camp, was going to be the guy. They're going to create opportunities for him to be one-on-one in this ball game. Pressure is on. He has to win those battles. He did there.
Murray back in as the tailback. And then Romo buying time with that play fake and under pressure again, and then slings it. It's one-handed by Murray, who makes the catch, and Asamoah runs him out of bounds with under 2 minutes to play in the quarter.
Well, the Eagles just got away with one there. Jason Witten was absolutely wide open on this play. The Eagles have blown a lot of coverage over the past month, and that time Witten was running by himself with nobody around. Romo was looking that way and just couldn't find him.
Loss of 1 on the play, second down and 11. Inside handoff to DeMarco Murray, third-round draft choice out of Oklahoma last year. When the Cowboys have Murray, it's a different running attack. Overall, they are last in the league in rushing, but with Murray, a big difference, as you can see, especially yards per carry. Right now, they're last in the league in rushing and last in the league in average yards per rush, averaging only 3.5.
Yeah, he played with Adrian Peterson for a year at Oklahoma. Shakes hands just like Adrian Peterson does.
Boy, oh boy.
You and I were running for covers.
These two guys should be in a wrist wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
Third down and 8. And Tony's going to take off and pick up the first down. And tackled at the 24-yard line by Kurt Coleman. So it opened up in the middle, and Romo exploits it for a gain of 15 yards.
Last week it was Cam Newton. Now it's Tony Romo. Watch all these guys running out in man coverage. This is called two-man, and when you get this as a quarterback, if your first option isn't there, you run the ball because all the defenders are chasing the wide receivers around the field. Tony was licking his chops a bit this week. He said, "You don't think they do that to me too, do you?" Yes, they are.
His longest run of the season, good for 15. Waning seconds of the quarter. And Romo will dump it off underneath, and the quarter will end on a pass to DeMarco Murray, taking the ball deep into Philadelphia territory. As we come to the end of the first quarter, Philadelphia 7, Dallas nothing. Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya in Arlington, Texas. And there goes Chris's nonstop to Cincinnati, getting an early start. Why that for a shot?
Why do I want to say phone home here?
Roof open. Cowboy Stadium Temperature in the mid-70s. They opened the roof on Thanksgiving. It was like a 5% chance of rain, and sure enough, a rogue shower came in.
And a lot of road things happening to the Cowboys this year.
Oh, for sure. Second quarter starts with a first down at the 13-yard line, and Romo is flushed out and then throws, and it is Kevin Ogletree who is out of bounds, but a flag is down. And we have not heard from Jeff Triplett tonight.
Got a couple of flags down.
Yeah, there's one back at the 24-yard line and one in the end zone.
Yeah, Doug Free got a pretty good hold, it looked like.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 68 in the offense. Pass interference, number 23 in the defense. By rule, those penalties offset. Replay, first down.
Free on one side and Rogers Cromartie on the other.
Goes Doug Free right there, and when Tony Romo started to scramble out to his right, you're going to see with his right hand he's going to just grab hold there and left, and pretty good job of acting as well. I think that was Darryl Tapp there, and on the outside Dominic Rogers Cromartie called with the interference.
Back we go to 1st and 10. Murray is the running back. Witten sets up on the right side, and they give it to Murray. Right through the middle goes DeMarco to the 8-yard line. It'll be second down and 5. So Jason Garrett right now in his second full season. Remember, he took over for Wade Phillips halfway through the 2010 season. And he's had about a 500 record through the 2 years. And the bane of his existence has been the fact that the Cowboys have coughed up a lot of late leads in the past 2 years. Second down and 5 from the 8-yard line. And Murray puts his head down, takes the ball to the 5 with a penalty. And he's looking over at Andy Reid to see what Andy wants to do. You've got D'Amico Ryans now, so clearly the penalty is against Dallas.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Mackenzie Bernardo. And an injury timeout here for D'Amico Ryans. Ryans okay, down for a moment. The former Houston Texan then got up and he was smiling, but he has to come out for at least one play. Eagle defense struggling. That's Casey Matthews, the brother of the Packers' Clay, who comes in to stow him at least for this one play. It's second down and 15 from the 18-yard line. And Romo hit as he throws, intended for Beasley. The pass is incomplete. Matthews covering. Brandon Graham put the pressure on Tony. It'll be third down and 15.
A lot of news about Jason Babin being released, and big reason why was the play of Brandon Graham. They wanted to get Vinnie Curry on the field a little bit more, and these pass rushers are coming. A little change in strategy for the Cowboys tonight, though. Instead of leaving a back in the backfield to try and help in their pass blocking, Romo requested to spread it all out. He said it's much easier for me to find running lanes to step up and through. He's been scrambling pretty well tonight.
So Ryan's back in the game, third and 15, and Tony under pressure. Maybe they should tighten it up.
Yeah.
Down he goes at the 21-yard line, and there is Graham again, and Romo is slow to get up as Tony got sandwiched by Graham and by Cole.
Yeah, there wasn't the initial pressure. There was plenty of room to step up there. There just wasn't anywhere to throw the football.
And Romo walking off slowly.
All the way across the board, and this is really the way it was against Washington too. The Redskins, I thought, did a terrific job in their man coverage against these wideouts, and a few injuries, but got to get open.
39-yard attempt by Bailey is good. Early second quarter. Dallas on the board, to Philadelphia up by 4 at Cowboys Stadium. Nick Foles is a Texan, went to the same high school as Drew Brees. Westlake High in Austin. Never met Brees until a couple of weeks ago when they faced New Orleans at 6'6". Now he was a good basketball player, had a lot of scholarship offers, was going to go to Arizona State, wound up going to Michigan State as a true freshman, played in only one game and then transferred to Arizona, where he set a lot of school records and was drafted in the 3rd round. And then the Eagles saw a lot of him in preseason. A lot of the stories in preseason were, should this guy be the starter? Of course, Michael Vick was the starter. right? And he was the starter as long as he could last when he sustained the concussion against Dallas 3 weeks ago, and it's been Foles since then. So the Eagles will get a good chance to look at Foles as the kick is taken 5 yards into the end zone by Boykin. And Boykin gets whacked by Philip Tanner, at the 16-yard line.
Well, one of the things they wanted to work on with Nick Foles was his footwork. Felt like he was too quick to scramble out in the game a week ago. He's a basketball player who feels like he's just now getting to the point where football is sort of second nature to him with his footwork, and feel like if they can get that part of his game straightened up, going to complete more passes.
Well, they'll get a good look at him, but again, what kind of a look are you getting at him without McCoy, without Jackson, with an offensive line that's held together by baling wire? But he will get some valuable playing time, obviously, and has over the past couple of weeks. And that pass is caught over the middle, and that is Brent Selleck taking it out to the 35-yard line.
Boy, that was fantastic there. He's going to take a direct shot on this blitz coming right at him, and he stands in there and just makes a perfect throw. That's what you want to see out of your quarterback. Okay, yeah, you've got a few issues on your offensive line, but if you get a man standing back there willing to take that kind of shot and complete a pass, that's pretty good.
That's a gain of 19. First down from the 35. Off the play fake, and that pass thrown away. A ton of decisions, of course. Anytime a team is 3-8, especially in Philadelphia, you lose 7 in a row, but they expect you to win. Andy Reid has been under pressure since the day he probably took the job, but never more so than right now. So the Eagles, they have to think about that. They have to think about who's going to be their quarterback in the future as well. A lot of big decisions to be made in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and it's certainly, about your coach, who you're going to get, what kind of style. Would you keep Andy Reid? Would you keep Mike Vick? I mean, there are 1,000 things going on with this organization right now.
We saw Jeff Lurie in the shot behind us, and he has owned the team for almost 2 decades. On 2nd and 10, Brown again swings to the outside, loss of 1. One thing about the Eagles, though, through the Reid era and through the Lurie era, they have been in contention almost all of the time. Very few times have they missed the playoffs. Andy in his 14th season, this will be the 5th time he's missed, 9 times in, 1 Super Bowl, 4 NFC championship games. So a lot of success. But in Philadelphia, the ultimate frustration is no Lombardi trophies.
Yeah, but he's always done a number on these Cowboys over the years, 17-10 in his career against Dallas. So he's created a lot of frustration on the other side, too.
3rd and 12. And falls back away, and then the pass is swatted away. Intended for Brown, and Anthony Spencer is right there. So after they picked up the first down on the first play of this drive, off they go for the punt unit on 4th and 11.
What's been interesting about the Cowboys here lately is how they've gotten off to these slow starts. I mean, it's 3 straight games now here in this building where they've been behind by 10 points or more at halftime, and then they come roaring back, and you go, boy, they look great. But where is it in the first half?
How about against the Giants? Overcame a huge deficit, took the lead, and then coughed it up again. And almost won that game on a catch by Des Bryant. Just out of the end zone was Bryant on that play as McBriar's punt is out of bounds at the 23-yard line. 11:50 to go in the half. Philadelphia up 7-3. Very controversial move last year. Andy Reid made Juan Castillo, who had been the offensive line coach, his defensive coordinator. That was last year, and then he was the defensive coordinator at the start of this season. And now he fired him during the bye week. There's Todd Bowles, and with Bowles, look at that. Against the Eagles defense, 13 TD passes, no interceptions, an enormous passer rating. And it's been tough. It's been very tough.
It was a mistake. I mean, no offense to Todd Bowles, but it's tough. You make a switch like that in the middle of the season. Yeah. You just look at the numbers.
Pass to the outside, and that's going to be caught by John Phillips, the backup tight end.
The hard part to watch with this Philadelphia Eagles defense is that they'll play well for long stretches, and then just give up these long touchdowns, just completely blown coverages. They started the game against Carolina last week with 2 blown coverages, and so they're down 14 before they even get into the fight. You can't do it.
2nd and 10. And this will be Felix Jones. Andy Reid was talking about Castillo yesterday. He's a close friend, obviously, a good friend and a great coach, as Andy put it. He said, I put him in a bad position, so I got him out of it.
Yeah, and I don't know if love is too strong a word, but he really does. I mean, he was a guy that he truly cared about, and I think that it was painful for Andy to see him going through all the criticism. But really the issue for the Eagles at that time was more what they were doing on offense and turning the football over.
3rd down and 5. Romo puts the fullback Vickers into the backfield with him. Then you got some action before the start of the play. And this figures to be a
false start.
It is
number
a false
63
start.
in the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Ryan Cook, the center, and that makes it 3rd down and 10.
Here's where the Philadelphia Eagles defensively should be at their strength. This is a team built around their cornerbacks and their pass rush. If they can't win in these situations, they can't win. Now they have the Cowboys backed up, get a chance to come after Tony Romo. This is where they have to start winning.
A lot of money in those corners. Rogers, Cromartie, and of course Asamoah, who was the #1 free agent on the market last year. And Romo throws and the pass is low, but it is caught at the 35 by Jason Witten. So Jason Witten going to the ground, and Romo wants to make sure Philadelphia can't challenge. So he's going up to the line. And it's a 12-yard gain, and now Andy Reid, having had a look at the replay.
And Colin Jenkins had one of those little ankle situations and gave him a look, and now Andy's throwing the flag out there. Boy, we've never seen that one before, have we?
Not in a couple of weeks anyway.
Colin Jenkins was grabbing his ankle and looking like he'd never be able to walk again, and then sprinted off the field.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field of the completed pass.
Well, Romo trying to get to the line to avoid the replay, but we do have a challenge here. The verdict when we come back. Waiting for the ruling, taking a look at this replay. Here comes
After
Triplett.
review, the ruling on the field is reversed. It is an incomplete pass. The receiver used the ground to control the ball. It'll be 4th down, 10. Ball will be at the 23-yard line. Please put 10:06 back on the clock.
Now the ball can hit the ground and still be a catch as long as the ground doesn't help you control it. So that's clearly the issue here. The ground helps Witten control the football as he then takes possession of it, and thus you've got an incomplete pass and a 4th down instead of a 1st.
And a relatively easy throw for Tony Romo there, missed what would have been a 1st down.
And Moorman now to punt it in the direction of Damaris Johnson. Comes back the other way, but not very far, to the 27-yard line. DeMarcus Ware, what a spectacular career he has had. Regular at the Pro Bowl, most sacks in an 8-year span. NFL since '82 when sacks became an official statistic. Got some pretty good company there. Reggie White, 124 over the span between 85 and 92, and 109.5 for DeMarcus Ware.
Of course, played for Bill Parcells a little bit, and Costas asked him before the show, did Lawrence Taylor's name ever get brought up by Bill Parcells? And said every day, and just every day.
That's Damaris Johnson, the man who ran the punt back down on the ground. Who's in, who's out for the Cowboys? 2 guys on top of route. Sean Lee, one of the really emerging great inside linebackers in the league, and then Bruce Carter took his spot, and now he's on IR. So it's Dan Connor and Ernie Sims, who was out on the street when the season began, who are the guys supplanting them in Dallas's base 3-4. Ball at the 27 as Foles under pressure slings it to Brown, but right there is Ware staying with him. and tackling him immediately. Second down.
That is some play by DeMarcus Ware right there. He's on the other side of the formation and is going to go behind the play here to chase down a screen pass. They were in trouble, or it appeared that way. Ware was on a stunt inside, recognized the screen, and was able to get there with his great speed. He is a tremendous player. I cannot imagine a scenario in which he does not go to the Hall of Fame at the end of his career. He has been that consistent.
Picked him number 1 to the Cowboys in 05 out of Troy. This is Brown, and Brown able to turn the corner, skirt the sideline, and Sensabaugh finally catches up to him inside the 40-yard line.
I tell you, I have seen this so much. Danny McCray, the victim this time. Watch the bad angle he takes. People just cannot anticipate the speed of Bryce Brown. It happened in the game last week. They think they've got it figured out. And this kid runs about a 4.3 something, whatever, 40-yard dash. And I have seen more NFL safeties taking the wrong angle to try and catch him. He is explosive. Still swinging that ball around.
39-yard gain. He's already rushed to 72 yards tonight. And now the handoff will go to Dion Lewis, the backup back. Again, McCoy is out with a concussion. Hope to have him back next week to the Eagles, and Brown needs a breather for the moment.
Sometimes you end up with young running backs in there. There's the left cheek for Nick Foles, and he goes, no, let's go to the right side over here. And I know it sounds dumb, but there have been times as a quarterback, you just want to make sure that guy knows what the play is. Maybe call an audible. You go, I don't care if the defense knows it or not. Here you go. That's a right cheeker right there. We're going that way.
Brown is back. Second down and 7. They give it to him. And he will get taken back as he reaches the line of scrimmage. Third down. Talked about Brown before. He was a phenom in high school in Wichita. 07. Scouts calling him Kansas' most dangerous high school back since a guy named Barry Sanders. Ranked the number 1 high school player by Rivals 100. He was the All-American Bowl game co-MVP. His brother went to the University of Miami. He was going to go there, but he winds up at Tennessee. Plays in 12 games there. Goes to Kansas State after sitting out a year. Plays 1 game there. And then Philly drafts him in the last round, 7th round. And that is caught by Jeremy Maclin, his first catch of the night. And Maclin takes it to the 12-yard line. Gain of 21 yards for Maclin, who's going to get a lot of attention tonight because Deshaun Jackson is gone on injured reserve.
Vince Agnew in man coverage tried to go over the top of the other receiver out there, and when he did, he got stuck in no man's land. All he had to do was just come back underneath for a big play.
Ball is at the 12-yard line. Fake to Brown, pass to the outside. That is caught by Selleck, who steps out at the 5-yard line, a gain of 7.
Same play. You fake the stretch play to the right. Everybody flies off to that right-hand side except the tight end Brent Selleck. Pull it out and throw it to the backside. That play has been consistent for a couple of first downs already in this game, and the Cowboys don't seem to have the answer.
Selleck's caught 4 for 52 yards. Romo biding his time. His team down by 4, and maybe more shortly. 2nd and 3. Inside to Brown, and he walks into the end zone again through the middle. Bryce Brown with his 2nd touchdown of the night. 7 plays, 73 yards, 4 on the ground, 3 up top.
Evan Mathis right here is going to get both arms around the outside of this linebacker. There is no way, and this is just one of those, sometimes they see it, sometimes they don't, but Evan Mathis there with a good bear hug and a walk-in for Bryce Brown.
He's had 2 walk-in touchdowns tonight. Alex Henry tacks on the extra point. 6:07 left in the half. 14-3, Philly. Now Dallas Cowboys have been playing here since the 09 season when they opened up with a loss to the Giants. Really hasn't been a home field advantage. 15-14 is their record here. And Jerry Jones knows that all too well. He did see his team win one playoff game, only one they won since '96 against these Eagles. After the inaugural season, you got a flag on the kickoff here. And back at the 45-yard line, Jeff Triplett is the official tonight. To kick it again.
Offside, number 39 of the kicking team. 5 yards added to the 20-yard line. First down.
Put it at the 25-yard line instead of kicking off again. Meanwhile, wide receiver comparison tonight. Miles Austin, zip. Des Bryant, zip. Jason Witten, 1. Murray's caught 3. Romo's thrown 10 times. Completed 6 for 40 yards against what has been a very porous Eagle defense. And on the ground, it's a 1-yard gain here for Murray, tackled by Hunt. Let's check in with Michelle.
Hey, Al, Eagles starting defensive tackle Fletcher Cox is back in the locker room being evaluated. He re-aggravated that tailbone injury he's been battling this week. His return is questionable right now. He's being replaced by rookie Cedric Thornton. Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Fletcher Cox, they traded up to pick him out of Mississippi State, number 1. Thornton is a free agent who's actually looked pretty good this year.
Yeah, Todd Bowles was telling me he felt like he was the second best player out on his defense.
2nd and 9. Could have won a few bets there. To the outside goes the pass, and it's a very short gain to Vickers, and a flag is down in the offensive backfield.
You know, this is Doug Free again.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
You know, I really can't explain it. You know, this is Doug Free here, and you'll see him gets beat around the edge here by Philip Hunt, and is just going to grab and hold, and there's 2 guys standing back there with striped shirts on, and he's just been getting worn out this year. He got paid a lot of money, and this year has gone completely south on Doug Free, and he is one of those guys that he was one of the cornerstones of this team.
Doug Free. That's a category you don't want to lead the league in. He's well in front with 13 right now.
Yeah, and you hold because you get beat. That's the reason you hold.
2nd and 19, and Romo slings it over the middle, and that's Witten. And Witten breaks the tackle and takes it out to the 31-yard line. Jason Witten suffered a lacerated spleen in a preseason game, and somehow was able to make it to opening night. We talked about it the last time we had the Cowboys. He didn't even know where his spleen was, but his wife is an emergency room nurse at Parkland Hospital here in Dallas, and she says, I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, she didn't want him to play in that opener, but he did anyway, and struggled a little bit early in the season, but he has been red hot lately, averaging over 9 catches a game for about the last 2 months.
Caught 84 already this year. It's the 12th game of the season. And then Witten makes another catch here, and that should be enough for a first down off a 3rd and 4, and is.
One thing that they made very clear to us is that if they're starting to have problems, and 14-3 would qualify as a problem, that's where they're going. If they're having problems in protection, that's where they're going. If they're having problems in the locker room, that's where they're going. Jason Witten is the man around here, and I'll never forget that game. It was against the Giants where he caught like 18 balls, and you could tell Tony Romo said, the heck with this. I'm just going to the guy that I know what he's going to do.
Pressure for a tight end in the game, and then the end around, that ball is dropped by Ogletree. So they go to the back of the playbook, and turns out to be a loss on the play of 8 yards, 2nd and 18.
They had it too. I mean, this thing's set up beautifully. They're around the end. John Phillips is going to come around the edge. There's nobody there. They're going to have a blocker or 2 out in space, and they cannot execute the handoff. I always felt as a receiver on reverses, I'd rather you pitch it to me, because you don't practice taking handoffs. It's much easier for them to just toss it up in the air and let me catch it. That's what I'm used to doing.
I like that point. 2nd and 18. And going to the ground and making the catch is Jason Witten. So he scored 3 on this drive. Ball is out to the 41. We're down to 2:45. A gain of 13. It'll be 3rd and 5.
A little better this time by Doug Freed. Tried to get after him with the bull rush. Brandon Graham did, and just enough. Anchored it down to allow Tony Romo to step up and find his guy. This is another really nice catch off the turf. Michael Kendricks, the rookie, is going to have his hands full over there trying to cover Jason Witten.
3rd and 5. Romo to the outside and trying to make a one-handed catch, and making it is Des Bryant. So his first catch of the night is something special. Gives him a first down at the Philadelphia 45-yard line.
Something special indeed. That is a one-handed sticky catch and getting both feet down. Romo's trying to hustle. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, he wants to get a play off before any challenge, before the 2-minute warning as well, and he does, and the pass is incomplete. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the Philly 45. When we come back with the score, Philadelphia 14, Dallas 3. So the halftime show coming up, more on the tragic and terrible story in Kansas City, including emotional reactions from head coach Romeo Crennel, quarterback Brady Quinn. And you'll see that on the Toyota halftime show. 156 to the half. It is 2nd down and 10. The Cowboys at the Philadelphia 45-yard line. Dallas has all of its timeouts. Toss to the outside, and nothing happening there. Murray gets taken down by D'Amico Ryans behind the line of scrimmage.
Tell you, this D'Amico Ryans probably has been their best defensive player this year. He doesn't run the way that he used to, but you can tell between the tackles, he's just as good as he's jumping up and down, doing things. But he's seen it all. You know, he's the veteran linebacker. That was such a hole in this defense for so long. They bring him in here, and he just has settled things down as far as the run defense is concerned. Now they just need to settle it down with the pass defense.
Defensive rookie of the year in 06 as a Houston Texan. 3rd and 13 now. And Romo throws, and that'll be caught by Miles Austin, who breaks the tackle and picks up a first down. So they convert on 3rd and long, broke away from the rookie corner, Boykin, and that's his first catch of the night.
Yeah, they just do the little rub route underneath, just a little semi-pick, and Boykin. But this is when Miles Austin is really good. He catches short passes, and people can't tackle him. He is built like a running back from the waist down, and sometimes those smallish cornerbacks, especially the slot corners, while they can keep up with him, they can't tackle him.
At the 29. Four-man rush. Romo over the middle. Wide open is Witten, and Jason Witten will take it inside the 1. It'll be first down and goal.
That time Kirk Coleman is going to go this way to double on the wide receiver on the outside, turn his back and run, and he just can't find Jason Witten down the middle of the field. They try to double the outside, blow the coverage again, and leave Jason Witten wide open.
Completely blown. When you leave that guy that open, when's the last time you saw Jason Witten that open? And there is Candace Romo, Tony's wife. And all of a sudden, Romo's got very hot on this drive. 12 of 17 now for 134. Timeout taken by Dallas before a first and goal.
You know, Al, one thing, when you watch the Philadelphia Eagles, I've never seen a defense that does it as much as this team does. Their safeties will turn and look to one side only. So if there is a mistake, they don't really have the ability to cover with the other guys. Here you're going to see him turn and run that way. He's going to drop out underneath. So it's a double coverage, and I get that part of it. But when you have safeties that are playing half a field only, the margin for error when there is a breakdown you expect the other guy to be able to help on most defenses. It doesn't happen here.
Close to scoring, but there's no challenges here. It would have to be a booth review, and they've looked at it and confirmed that it's a first down and goal. You would look at all scoring plays. Also, you would look at that play since it's inside the last 2 minutes. He didn't get in. It's first down and goal. They come up with a very tight formation. Murray is the running back. We give it to DeMarco, and he will go into the end zone. So the Dallas Cowboys, down by 11, go 65 yards, 11 plays. Witten catches 4 balls along the way, and Murray gets into the end zone.
It's nice when you get your guard to just blow out the nose tackle here. Eric Landry's trying to shoot the gap, but then just creates that big hole inside. But you can tell, even though DeMarco Murray doesn't look like DeMarco Murray that we saw on opening day and all that, he's given this team a lift. He really has. He's provided a spark with the running game.
And Vickers, the fullback, takes out Ryan. Ryan's with a nice block as Bailey kicks the extra point. 41 seconds to the half. Philly 14 and Dallas 10. Dan Patrick getting ready for his show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to noon, and you can catch it on the NBC Sports Network. Downtown Dallas, it's a beautiful sight. Great color scheme with the buildings of downtown, and this is about a 35-minute drive away from there. Cowboy Stadium in the city of Arlington, hard by the ballpark at Arlington, where the Texas Rangers play baseball.
That was a little ballpark over there for the Little Leaguers in the stadium. You know, it's cool.
Very cool. 41 seconds remaining. Philadelphia has all of its timeouts. 5 yards in the end zone. This is Boykin. They'll bring it out to the 16-yard line.
Now, ordinarily, I would say there's no way that you're going to let your rookie quarterback come out here and sling it around, especially considering that the Eagles are next to last in the NFL with a -17 turnover ratio. But let's face it, the Eagles, where are they right now? They're trying to find out, can Nick Foles be the guy? You know, maybe they want to see a little bit of this.
And they come up in a shotgun formation, so clearly they're going to let him attempt to get it down the field, get it into field goal range, and it always helps to have a guy like Bryce Brown with you. And he starts by handing it to Brown, and Brown will take off again. And what a night for Brown. Again, last week on Monday night against the Carolina Panthers, he had a huge game. Here's a 20-yard gain. He's already gained 98 yards tonight. And a timeout is taken by the Eagles. 1st and 10 from the 37 after the Philadelphia timeout. The fake this time to Brown. Foles is going to go deep downfield and incomplete. Intended for Jeremy Maclin, who had a step on the corner, but safety help for Dallas over the top. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, I tell you, the one thing that you do see with the way that Bryce Brown's been running the football, it's slowing down DeMarcus Ware. They're going play fakes right at Ware, and he has to play this stuff. He can't just allow him to come up around the edge and rush the passer because Bryce Brown keeps ripping off runs for 20 yards inside him.
Brown 178 yards on the ground last week against Carolina. 98 tonight. Remember last week his first start since he was in high school. 2nd and 10. Good protection for Foles. And then the pass is caught in Dallas territory. Jason Avant makes his first catch. The ball is at the 34, and they're in field goal range, long field goal range, albeit, but they're nonetheless on a 29-yard gain.
Boy, that was a pretty touch right there, up over the top. Good to have Jason Avant back in the lineup. He had to kind of drop that one in the hole between the corner and the safety. Can't you kind of see Nick Foles' confidence growing a little bit here? I mean, he's struggled. He's had a couple of bad moments, especially down in the red zone. But kind of between the 20s, he's been pretty good.
Definitely. The ball is at the 34. They have 2 timeouts. They're going to give the ball on the inside to Brown. He's going to pick up about 3 yards to the 31. They take a timeout here.
Timeout.
So they can run another play and then bring in Henry, who's been terrific this season and hasn't missed a field goal attempt since opening day.
Yeah. been terrific as he was a week ago. He's coming right back and doing it again. He is a guy that understands how to run. I mean, you have to remember, he has basically had no experience in college, a handful of games over about a 3-year period of time. And he said he was nervous when he was told he was going to start last week. He goes, I was nervous in practice. I couldn't believe I was getting that sort of opportunity. So then I settled down and started going pretty good, and he did, except for the 2 fumbles. So hang on.
Now they give it to Brown, and Brown's going to set Henry up for about a 44-yard, 43-yard field goal with 3 seconds. He's kicked 19 straight. His career long is 51. This will be his, well, he's inside the 50, so this one, 44-48, is pretty terrific over his career. And they will set him up for about a 43-yard attempt.
Yeah, if he makes this kick, either this one or the next one, he will have made more field goals in his first 50 tries than anybody in NFL history. That's how good this guy has been. His last miss was, what, opening day?
Against Cleveland.
Yeah, and it didn't matter. They won the game anyway.
Right, missed a 45-yarder in Cleveland. This from 43 yards to try to make it a 7-point game, and Henry's kick is just inside the left upright as time expires in the first half. Eagles, big underdogs, will go to the locker room up top by 17-10. And coming up next will be the Toyota halftime show after these messages from your NBC station. Going to get whacked, and that is DeMarcus Ware.
For a young quarterback, there's your nightmarish start.
Romo tries to get away and cannot. That is Brandon Graham. There goes Brown, untouched into the end zone.
For Bryce Brown, that was easy.
Inside to Brown, and he walks into the end zone again. What a night for Brown.
The NFL runs on NBC.
A good half for the Philadelphia Eagles as you look at downtown Dallas. 17-10 is our score in Arlington at Cowboys Stadium. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Sunday night football, week 13. Philly trying to break a 7-game losing streak, and the Cowboys just trying to stay alive in the playoff picture and get back to 500. Nothing's easy with these Cowboys.
Nope. For the Philadelphia Eagles, they can just play loose, have fun, cut their young rookie quarterback loose, and he was terrific the first half. I thought Nick Foles, Bryce Brown can't be a lot more impressive than that.
Outstanding. Kickoff by Henry results in a touchback, and we go to Michelle.
Just spoke with Jason Garrett, Al. You know, their wide receivers had just 3 catches in the first half, and he said Philly is playing their coverages to the outside. That has forced us to run the ball and throw to the tight end, and he's happy with the way they're running the ball. As for Andy Reid, he's really happy with his 2 young players. Said Nick Foles is making good decisions and staying very composed. And as for Bryce Brown, he said he's being patient, using his speed when he needs to, and holding that ball high and tight. He's happy with those 2, Al.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle. And with McCoy out, Brown getting a chance, and what a 2 weeks he has had. Now Romo starts by handing the ball to Murray, who goes through the middle. And Murray coming back after a 6-week absence because of the foot sprain, gains 13.
Well, it was the story of these defensive ends working on the outside, probably in particular against Doug Free. Tyron Smith was pretty good. But Tony Romo did a great job of scrambling in the first half, understanding where the pressure was and getting out. But when he didn't, he was facing a rush like this. So trying to establish this run game early on.
Murray, 10 carries tonight for 48 yards. Ducks down, takes a hit after a gain of 3. The second, let's call it 6, gain of 4 yards for him on that play.
You know, for Tony Romo, the one place that I still think there's some vulnerabilities, you've got a guy by the name of Des Bryant, who I think is one of the best rebounders in the NFL. He looks like LeBron James going up for a ball. And the way the Eagles play their secondary, there are opportunities for a worst-case scenario of being a one-on-one jump ball down the field. I couldn't play an entire game without throwing him at least 2 of those.
Well, he's only caught 1 tonight for 14 yards. He splits to the left. You got Ogletree to the right. You got a 4-man rush. And there goes Bryant. And Bryant, that time, just for a short game. It'll be 3rd down and 1 at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, Nnamdi Asomugha that time playing pretty far off of Des Bryant. The one time he sort of got the single coverage without any help over there. But I still think there are opportunities for him. And if he's going to play that far off, and you wonder, you know, if Nnamdi's going through a little confidence crisis after some of the deep balls that have been given up by this defense, but that's an opportunity.
3rd and 1, tight formation here, and then swinging to the outside, and that will get him the 1st down, and a lot more is DeMarco Murray, who looked like he was going to be stuffed in the backfield, and then was able to swing it to the outside, take it to the 31 for a gain of 27 yards.
Well, that's what great running backs do right there. There's nothing there. You can do anything you want. Murray's right here. Yeah, there's nothing. That's it. You can send on the punter, right? And a great running back every once in a while. Just make this happen. And you can tell he's not healthy. He's got still a little limp in his kitty up there, but he is playing with his heart out there tonight.
31, they give it to Felix Jones this time. Cowboys last in the league in rushing coming into the game tonight, averaging 79 yards per game. Murray himself tonight has picked up 79, and the Cowboys on the ground 108 yards.
Well, for the Philadelphia Eagles, though, that has always been the question. Can you remain sound defensively, playing your defensive ends out a little bit wider? Are there opportunities to run? They come back with the 5 defensive linemen in the game.
2nd down and 3. Jones stopped after a gain of 1. Longtime assistant coach and defensive line guru Jim Washburn came over from the Tennessee Titans, the Eagles defensive line coach, who was thrilled when in the draft they decided to go with Fletcher Cox as their #1 draft choice.
And apparently not so thrilled when Jason Babin was released, but they want to get these young kids in the game, find out what they can do, just like with Nick Foles.
3rd and 2. And Romo under pressure, but he's going to scramble. Comes back across the field. It's caught by Bryant. And Des Bryant will take it to the end zone. And Tony Romo has just moved past Troy Aikman, the all-time Cowboy leader in touchdown passes. And he can send a big thank you note to Des Bryant with a great move.
You're going to go all the way across the field, and how Tony Romo found him. It's only just that he becomes the all-time Cowboys touchdown passer on a play like that. You know, that was vintage Tony Romo scrambling right and somehow finding Des Bryant all the way across the field for the touchdown.
The 166th touchdown pass of his career, and Dan Bailey ties the game. As the Cowboys take the opening kickoff in the second half. Go 80 yards in 7 plays, and we're knotted at 17. So the Cowboys once again trying to come from behind, as has been the case so often this season. 166 now, breaking a tie with Troy Aikman, talking to the quarterback coach Wade Wilson, who threw a few in his career as well. Roger Staubach, another of the great Cowboy quarterbacks. You think about Colin Merritt, of course, Danny White before the game tonight. He comes to a lot of Cowboy games, and Tony on top, and that kick does get across the goal line before going out of bounds. And we go back to the Dallas TV.
Well, especially in a year in which you've got some struggles on the offensive line. Des Bryant coming across this way. Romo's going to go the other way. So naturally, he's going to throw the record touchdown pass on a play like that. Everything could possibly go wrong on that play, right? You know, all that stuff could go wrong, but his wife Candace said, no problem, my baby had it all the way.
And Jerry feeling, even though that expression doesn't show it a heck of a lot better about these circumstances after his team was down at one point by 11. Foles will dump it off underneath. Short gain, Clay Harbor, the number 2 tight end, gains a couple. It'll be second down and 8. Foles making his 3rd start, 4th appearance overall after taking over when Vic got concussed in the Dallas game back in November. Good first half, 11-16 for 138 and a lot of poise. Off play action, swing to his left, finds the open man. That's Jeremy Maclin at the 38-yard line for an Eagle first down.
Pretty impressive throw moving to the left, but what impressed Andy Reid, I think, the most was that he took the practice script the other day, right? And, you know, everybody has it. They always call in the plays or whatever. He looked at it a couple of times and just handed it back to Marty Morningweg and said, I got it. Proceeded to call the rest of the practice from memory. And for Andy Reid, he said, hey, we've got something here.
Very bright guy, studious type. Bryce Brown came in with glasses yesterday. So he wore contacts during the game. Oh yeah, but he looked like a guy who was going to the library when he walked into the meeting yesterday.
Comes from a very successful family and very proud of his parents. Said his parents were his heroes, and now he's out there getting an opportunity. And I can tell you, there was a buzz about Nick Foles coming out of camp. Almost everybody that I talked to who went out there for practice said, yeah, okay, we look pretty good. But watch this Nick Foles guy. We really think he could be something special, and we're starting to see it in this game.
So a lot of them in preseason, second down and 5, off the play fake. Little toss to the outside to Selleck. It'll be 3rd and 2. Foles was telling us about draft day. And Selleck is going to be slow in getting back up. And it'll be a timeout to take care of Brent Selleck, who took a shot. Injury timeout with 9:24 left in the 3rd. Brent Selleck took a shot as he made the catch. 3-yard gain. And you look at the grounded Eagles, of course. Well, Jackson, Vick, and McCoy. 3 All-Stars.
And 3 starting offensive linemen out as well.
But right now in a 17-17 game, 3rd down and 2 from the 45-yard line. They give it to Brown, who tries to get that first down. It's going to be very close. They'll spot the ball at the 47-yard line. And Jeff Triplett will bring in the change. It appears that he has it. Started to talk about Foles, picked in the 3rd round out of Arizona. A lot of teams around the league liked him. 6'6". Played extremely well in Tucson. And this is going to be a first down. So he's sitting around at home in Austin with his family and his friends, and it's draft day. And it's winding down to the 3rd round. They're coming close to, Philadelphia making its pick. And he thinks he may go, and the power goes out in his house. Everything goes out, the lights, television, the whole thing. And he doesn't even know where his cell phone is. And his cell phone winds up on the other side of the room, and it's on vibrate, and his sister knows it's vibrating, and he sees 215 area code, which is Philadelphia, and that's how he finds out he gets drafted by the Eagles. From the 47 on first down. Brown to the 50-yard line. Speaking of Foles.
Yeah, I don't know what else you need to see, at least so far in this one. Reading the coverage here, looking down the field, figuring things out. Coming backside, go to your check down, pretty good. Going to take a shot, complete a pass over the middle. Nice little touch over the top just before the half. He's been impressive. We saw last week the ability to make some run checks and pick up first downs. He's growing into the position.
Well, Anthony Spencer, who's really had a good year at outside linebacker for the Cowboys, grasping his right knee, and the training staff looking at the lower leg as well.
Well, they cannot afford to have another one on that side of the ball. As banged up as the Eagles are on offense, the Cowboys on the defensive side, especially up the middle. I mean, you consider Sean Lee, Bruce Carter, their two inside linebackers. Jay Ratliff has been a non-factor at the nose for so long. Barry Church hurt his Achilles early in the season. You talk about in baseball strength up the middle. Well, that's where the Cowboys have been hit the hardest. But that guy right there has been, he may have had the best year defensively of anybody. He is like a Pittsburgh Steelers outside linebacker. Tough guy.
And there is Ratliff, who's played 6 games and tonight misses his 6th game. Victor Butler comes in, number 57. At the outside linebacker spot. Selleck is back for Philadelphia. 2nd and 7. They give the ball to Brown. There he goes again. And Brown to the 37-yard line. He wasn't touched at that point, so he's able to get back up and pick up a couple of extra yards before Ernie Sims makes the stop at the 33-yard line. That's 17 yards for him.
They're just going to keep washing this side down, and then on the back side, you get Brent Selleck walling that thing off. No Anthony Spencer over there now, and they are off. That stretch play, and then the throwback to Selleck, and now the cutback by Brown has been wearing the Cowboys out. They are attacking the middle of this defense.
Brown out for a breather. Dion Lewis is in the backfield flanking Foles. And here is Dion Lewis trying to swing outside. Gets away, gets out of the backfield, and takes it to the 22-yard line. Broke away from DeMarcus Ware, and that'll be a gain of 11.
DeMarcus Ware jumped inside that time, King Dunlop, and almost got back there to it. You can see his frustration starting to grow. He's going to loop down to the inside, and Dion Lewis very quick, able to just escape the tackle.
Howard Mudd, who has announced he is going to retire, longtime assistant coach in the league, was at Indianapolis. Andy Reid got him out of his last retirement. Howard says this is it for him. To the outside goes that pass incomplete, intended for Riley Cooper. I always look at Howard Mudd and I say, you know, if you can do a movie and you want to cast an assistant coach, he's your man.
He is, and they've been shuffling this offensive line all year. Can you imagine? I mean, start off with Jason Peters. I think their best player on the offensive side goes out early in the year preseason. Jason Kelsey, their outstanding center, he's out. Todd Harriman's out, so they're mixing and matching. They brought in Jake Scott, a guy he knew back in his days when he was with the Indianapolis Colts, and somehow they're keeping it together.
Anthony Spencer is back in for the Cowboys. 2nd down and 10. Little shovel pass. Brown. And Brown takes it to the 15-yard line. Mike Jenkins was blitzing that time. He was able to shovel it to Brown.
Well, Kobe Bryant, no looker here. It just kind of comes in and you got to squeeze it between the rushers coming in there. Tell you what, that helps young quarterbacks right there when you don't have to try and throw into all these blitz looks. Pretty nice call by Marty Morningway.
Well, Foles played a lot of basketball. The no-look pass.
There you go.
3rd down and 3. 5:40 left in the 3rd. The drive began back at the Eagle 20-yard line. And going to the end zone, and it is Cooper for the touchdown. He beats Brandon Carr, and Foles just leads them down the field 80 yards in 11 plays.
Say, that looked pretty good by Riley Cooper right there. He kind of deked him on this one, act like it really wasn't coming, relaxed, never really showed it. Held him off with his left arm, looked like made a one-handed catch with the other. That's pretty darn good right there. And for Nick Foles, instead of red zone issues, he is converting red zone opportunities into touchdown. That was the last question in my mind about Nick Foles.
Complete deja vu for the Cowboys because in that game 3 weeks ago at Philly, Cooper made a one-handed catch for a touchdown. Then he does it again, and Philly reassumes the lead. Sunday Night Football brought to you by GE. Tweet us your favorite brilliant machines. By Samsung Galaxy Note 2, the next big thing is here. By Toyota Care, complimentary on every new Toyota. And by Zales, the diamond store, let love shine. Well, it was yesterday afternoon. Nick Foles' alma mater, Westlake, defeated Longview 38-10 to move on to the Texas State High School football playoffs. Foles broke every record set by a guy who also went to Westlake, Drew Brees.
What are the odds of having two like that?
So in Texas, when you're 1 day old, what do you folks put in your hands? A football. Blake Shelton will bring you Miranda Lambert, Kelly Clarkson, Reba McEntire, One Crazy Turkey. Blake Shelton's Not So Family Christmas. You can see it tomorrow right after The Voice here on NBC.
I like it.
Dallas has the ball. Don't you do it?
Yeah, I do. Country music fan.
Man, I love that shot of Foles' parents putting that little football in his hands. At 1 day old as Romo throws to the outside, caught by Ogletree, gain of 9. What'd your parents put into your hands on day one? Any idea?
It wasn't a football. It was a basketball. My dad he played for Adolph Rupp.
That's right.
He's on a national championship team.
There, that's beautiful. My parents, I think, put a pair of dice in my hands, but I can't confirm it.
You've mastered it since then.
That's what I've heard. Great shot, though. That's beautiful. And I'll tell you what, Foles has had some night. DeMarco Murray is the running back here on second and a deuce. And he will plunge forward. Forward progress is going to be pretty close. Line judge comes in and gives him the spot first down, so says the referee, Jeff Triplett.
Well, one of the guys we've been keeping an eye on tonight is this Cedric Thornton right here. He's the guy that in Philadelphia they think has been one of the stunning developments for them. A free agent player has become one of the best defenders on this team, and he's going to continue to get more opportunities. He's getting a good long look here tonight. Up to the 5 defensive linemen out there now.
Staying on the ground, stay through the middle. Murray picks up 4 to the 34. So let's just reset this wild card situation right now in the NFC. Right now, if the season were to stop at this moment, Chicago and Seattle would be the 2 wild cards, and they played an overtime game in Chicago today where Chicago tied the game at the end of regulation, and then Seattle went down the field and scored a touchdown to win it. Jerry Jones and his gang hoping that the Cowboys would stay into the hunt, but as you said at the top, Chris, gigantic tonight.
How about that Russell Wilson?
Tremendous. Second down and 6. And that's caught by Murray, and he will go next to nowhere, running right into Michael Kendricks, the rookie second rounder out of California.
I love the story DeMarco Murray told us. He said Bob Stoops from Oklahoma was coming to recruit another kid at his high school. He was just a freshman. So Murray said, what the heck, I'm going to take a shot. Stoops went walking by, so he did his signature dunk. He bounced one off the wall behind the backboard. It took one hop, and he caught it and dunked the thing. And Stoops said, how old are you, young man? He said, I'm a freshman. He said, I'll be coming back to get you, and he did.
You're heading to Norman. 3rd and 2. And that is caught on the outside by Dez Bryant, who takes it to the Philadelphia 48-yard line with 2.5 minutes to go in the third. Gain of 15.
You know, Nnamdi Asomugha up in this press, but he's really not staying on that. He's bailing out of it, and then Dez is taking advantage with some slants over the middle. I still think that you have great opportunities with him. And when he starts to get on a roll now, we saw it on the first drive and a couple of good plays, now a catch here. Sometimes he can take over a game.
Murray. And he's brought that ground game back tonight for the Dallas Cowboys. As we said, last in the league in rushing, but tonight the Dallas Cowboys have rushed for 122 yards, and Murray has accounted for 92 of those.
And as a play caller, it just makes everything so much easier. You know, you get up, you don't have to have Tony Romo drop back and throw it 62 times like he did against the Washington Redskins. You can start picking and choosing a bit more.
Murray. Short game. 3rd down and 2 next with 1.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, sort of interesting to watch Andy Reid's squad out here tonight. They've already scored, 24 points in this one, which ties the season high. When you think of the Philadelphia Eagles and all the points that they score every single year, the idea that 24 points would tie the career high, they haven't scored 24 since they beat the Ravens in week 2.
Philly with 3 wins this season. They came in the first 4 weeks by a total of 4 points. Last time they won a game was the last night of September on Sunday Night Football against the Giants. And as a lot of you know, especially in Philadelphia, the Phillies have won more recently than the Eagles. But we'll find out about tonight, 24-17. Sunday Night Football night next week to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, 8-4, winning today against the Detroit Lions. Football night gets us started at 7 Eastern time. There are the standings. Green Bay and Chicago each 8-4. Right now, Green Bay would own the tiebreak. They beat Chicago in week 2. 1 game still to play between those two. And the Packers next week taking on the Lions on Sunday night. 3rd down and 2 now at the 40-yard line as the handoff goes to Murray. And Murray close to a first down.
Now, whether he gets this or not, I think this was 4-down territory for Jason Garrett, and probably said, all right, let's just run it. If we don't get it, we'll go again. May have picked it up.
Took the timeout, made that play call right there. If Triplett's going to ask the chain gang to come in.
Did you watch any of that Green Bay game today? Aaron Rodgers, I really thought it was one of the better games I've seen a quarterback play all season. I mean, he really had to take that team on his back, struggles with the offensive line due to injuries, and just kept making plays on 3rd down.
Got Greg Jennings back as well. You see that they're about a link and a half shy with the ball at the 38-yard line.
Well, we saw the last time they were in one of these short yardage situations, they just slanted everybody inside, and DeMarco Murray bounced it out around the edge. So see whether or not they like it. One thing I know the Cowboys are very good at is some of these toss pitches. And sometimes they'll even crack back with a wide out or a tight end, but no crack back here. They're all lined up. No smash mouth.
Bringing an extra lineman, bringing Vickers as the fullback. Put it right on the ring and give the ball to Murray. And he should have enough for the first down. Matthews indicates he doesn't. Philly says no, no, no. But it looks from here as if that lean got him.
Wow,
got
they
it,
really
but who knows?
Marked that thing back.
Yes, they did.
They almost put it back where not so much forward progress is where he landed. Let's take a look.
And Nate Livings is there. And Romo saying, well, how can you put it there?
I think that's a bad mark. I really do.
Well, this is challengeable if they don't get it, and it appears they're not going to get it.
I thought he was clearly across this line and then got driven back, and they sort of put it down
right
where he landed instead of where he got to.
Well, they're going to say that he turned the ball over, but Garrett is ready to throw the flag here and take a chance on the challenge, and if I'm him, I do this. And of course the crowd now sees this on the big board, and when you talk about a big board, they get the biggest of them all here, and the crowd is waiting for Garrett to throw the flag, but he has to crane his neck to take a look.
He's going to crane his arm here in a minute.
Right, he should, because the guys upstairs, his assistant coaches, and the crowd says, come on, throw the flag.
Yeah, he's just waiting until the last minute.
He just used the timeout. If he loses this challenge, he'll be down to 1 timeout, but I think it's worthwhile. So Triplett will go under the hood.
Dallas is challenging the ruling on the field. The runner short of the line of game.
All right. That is the issue. The answer when we come back. Take another look at this. Now remember, the officials don't see the yellow line. The yellow line, as you know, is unofficial. We've told you that 15 million times. But you can use the hash mark as a landmark. So where is he? Will they put the ball eventually inside the 38-yard line? He's at the 38 right there. If they do, it will be enough for a first down.
I mean, there's just no doubt using the yellow line, but again, you don't know. This process gets a lot tougher without it. And it has to be definitive. They marked it short of the line to gain. So who knows? I've given up on these, man. In my mind, there's no doubt it's a first down.
Me too. When the play was run, you could see it from here. It was pretty clear forward progress. The ball is across the 38-yard line. They moved it back outside the 38-yard line, so it's either first down Dallas or Philadelphia football. And if he's wrong, he loses the timeout. He already used one on the play before this. So he'd be down to one timeout in a one-possession game. Here comes Triplett.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. We will move the ball forward just at the 38-yard line and re-enter.
You know what the most interesting thing there is that Triplett didn't remeasure it. I mean, he says it's reversed instead of putting the ball down where he thinks the ball should be and then bringing the chain gang out.
Yeah, I think they're going to go back.
Well, when he says it's reversed.
Yeah, but you're moving the ball, but you still have to.
You still have to measure it.
Well, and now they've moved the chains, but there is a little marker on the chain that will show them where it was on a particular line marker, so they can replace those chains back and still measure this thing. There's like a little clip that they put on the chains. Here they are. They're coming back the other way now, and there's a little clip on there that is put right on one of the yard lines. You'll see the official being able to just put that thing down, and so he knew exactly where it was, so the marking is going to be exactly the same, we hope.
And it is a first down.
That was a big play. But they got it right. You know, that's what
it's about.
It's all you hope for. You know, let's make it a fair game. Whatever's right, let it be right.
That's what the rule is about. And then they wind the clock, and that's going to take us to the fourth quarter. So at the end of 3, deep in the heart of Texas, it's Philadelphia 24 and Dallas 17. Sunday night football from Cowboys Stadium. Back after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico. Look down into Cowboys Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Sunday night football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Philadelphia, big underdog in the game, but up by 7, and Dallas has a first down now at the 38-yard line. And the ball is handed off to Murray, who goes next to nowhere, second and long.
And for DeMarco Murray, there was a lot of concern about how long he could go. You know, what was his conditioning going to be like? And so they've run different guys in and out. Felix Jones gotten an opportunity to spell him every once in a while, and they've really managed his snaps here pretty well. I think they've just about maximized what he's able to do after that long layoff.
Romo on the gun on second and 9. Jones stays in the block. Pass comes to the outside, where it's taken by Dwayne Harris, who fights his way for what might be a first down tackle by Allen.
Again, that little run-out technique on the outside by Nnamdi Asomugha, not wanting to give up the big plays, and I think that's been kind of a part of the change for Todd Bowles. He has said, you know what, guys, listen, we can't give away games anymore. Keep the ball in front of you. We'll come up and make a tackle, make a play in the red zone. They've been better tonight on defense.
Harris, the 8th different receiver tonight for Romo. It's his first catch of the game. Here's Murray overfake to Jones, and then the pass caught by Miles Austin, who takes it in for the touchdown. Great ball handling by Romo with the fake. It's 27 yards and a touchdown for the Cowboys. An extra point away from a tie right now.
Boy, this is Miles Austin we know right here. A lot of cushion on the outside. Again, playing it safely. But D'Amico Ryan's unable to get back into that zone drop. And that's what Miles Austin looks like when he's going full speed. Had to leave the game with the bad hip a week ago. But boy, this thing is starting to turn into some fun out here.
Only his second catch of the night. Bailey for the extra point. Back and forth we go. And the Cowboys catch him again at 24 with 13:41 left in the fourth. The Cowboys trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. Philadelphia trying to play the role of spoiler. They win their first game since late September here at Cowboys Stadium. The game tied at 24. Cowboys won a huge challenge, retained possession of the ball, and it's paid off with the touchdown to Austin. Now you've got Brandon Boykin running back this kick out to the 23-yard line, and back we go to the Dallas TD.
Well, when you get the running game going, it puts great pressure on these linebackers to step up. So you go the play fake on the run. Now D'Amico Ryans can't get back underneath the crosser. Your safety can't get there either, and you get a touchdown out of it. Good play fake by Tony Romo. Really sold it with his eyes. Sucked D'Amico Ryans right up. Nice play.
Beautiful. From the 22-yard line. Foles starts with an inside play fake and then slings it over to Jason Avant to the 30-yard line. So again, Nick Foles getting an opportunity to play with a short deck. No Jackson, no McCoy, and obviously taking the place of Michael Vick, who had been the starter all season until November the 11th when he suffered a concussion in the game against the Dallas Cowboys, as the Cowboys came from behind to win with 3 return touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
And there's no other way to say it other than they're trying to decide, do they need Mike Vick? I mean, that's really what it comes down to for the rest of the year.
No doubt, huge contract and all of the rest. I'll tell you one thing, they need Bryce Brown. Speaking of Mike Vick, let's go to Michelle.
Well, Mike Vick's been throwing, running, and lifting weights out, but he hasn't been able to pass his baseline concussion test. The Eagles medical staff has identified the one area holding him back. It's reaction time, which has to do with eye tracking. The eyes move together smoothly. So now they're trying to retrain his eyes and hoping he can pass that baseline test Monday. If he does, he still needs to be cleared by a team doctor and an independent neurosurgeon, Al.
Thank you, Michelle. He could play if he's cleared next week at Tampa. And that pass is incomplete, thrown low in front of Riley Cooper.
What did Andy Reid compare it to? That the whole hockey concussion syndrome, remember?
Right. And as you look at Michael, but let's go back to what took place. Here was the concussion 3 weeks ago in this game at Philadelphia.
But watch his eyes when it gets over to the sideline. He's blinking his eyes, and you can tell he's squinting his eyes like he can't get himself focused.
Right.
And that has been the issue. You could almost see it the minute it happened.
That was Ratliff who fell on top of him, and then he stayed in for another play. He got whacked again, 2nd and 10. And here goes Brown to the outside, turning a loss into a nice gain. Slippery.
Exciting. I mean, he's making plays out of nothing. Had to work inside. Spencer, I think, is right there. Jump inside there. Now uses speed to get back outside. Loses about 6 yards in the process and makes it up with that speed. What did he tell us he ran in middle school? Is the only time he ran track for a time, ran a 10, 800 meters. Middle school?
As we talked about him earlier, at one point regarded as maybe the best high school prospect coming out of school in Wichita, Kansas. From the 47, Foles has that one batted down at the line of scrimmage, and Spencer is the guy who got his hand on it. That's going to make it 2nd down and 10.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's only the 3rd batted down pass the Cowboys have had all season long.
Think about that. It's a game for J.J. Watt, isn't it?
It's a quarter for J.J. Watt. May not have been the worst thing that ever happened. That one got batted down. That was a pretty tight window on that one. But now the turnovers that haven't been a part of this game start to loom large. That's the issue for young quarterbacks. Can they handle the pressure?
Foles hangs in. Boy, getting wide open again is Avant. Jason Avant to the 31-yard line on a 2nd down and 10. And Avant keeps on going, but the play is whistled dead back at the 31-yard line.
Well, they brought a little pressure inside there, Al. You talked about it, they're not really a big blitz team. That time they brought the inside backer, and there just is a huge void in that zone. We have seen some mistakes in the middle of the field for both these teams, but for Nick Foles, he looks like he's playing in the backyard.
Gain of 23 right there, 210 yards for him, completing 17 to 25. Under 11 minutes to go in the 4th in a tie game. Rolling out and throwing it out of bounds. Intended for Avant. And then it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Boy, Josh Brent felt like he got held. He made a really quick move off the ball that time. I think it was Evan Mathis who kind of reached out and grabbed him. Here you go. He jumped right around Dallas Reynolds, and Evan Mathis got just a little bit of him in order to allow his quarterback to get it out. Of course, playing for Jay Ratliff in there, and that looked like Jay Ratliff a little bit.
On 2nd and 10, off the fake. The pass is caught by Selleck. He'll get tackled at the 25-yard line, already in field goal range, obviously, for Henry, and upcoming is a 3rd down and 4.
That is the 4th time they run that play, and the 4th time they picked up good yardage on it. Fake that stretch run play away, and then throw it backside.
6 catches for Selleck tonight, 63 yards. 3rd down, long 3. Foles going deep, incomplete. Intended for Clay Harbor, the number 2 tight end. So it'll be 4th down, and Henry will come in to try to break the tie.
Nothing there. He tried to get it out to the right-hand side, and Riley Cooper wasn't there. Just basically had to stand up and try and find somewhere else. That's one of those, if Nick Foles was stepping up in the pocket, I think he would have been able to run for that 1st down. Cooper got the inside taken away and just had to ad-lib.
Henry tries to make his 20th consecutive field goal, and it is good as it draws in from 43. And Philadelphia up 27-24. And Tony Romo has just moved past Troy Aikman, the all-time Cowboy leader in touchdown passes. And that is a big deal, because you take a look at some of those guys: Aikman, Danny White, Roger Staubach, Don Meredith. It's one of the iconic positions in American sports. I always said that you play center field as you look at Roger Staubach for the New York Yankees, or you play for the Lakers or the Celtics. The center for the Celtics, of course, that goes back to the Bill Russell days. Used to be goalie for the Montreal Canadiens years ago, and it's always been quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wide receiver for Cincinnati.
Dwayne Harris with a flag down. In fact, there are 3 flags. Take your pick here. Jeff Shriver saying, wait a second, I have to have like 11 discussions here.
Pretty good announcers on that quarterback list, too.
Tell me, yeah.
Don, did you ever work with Don Meredith?
Yes, on not on football, but on Superstars.
Yeah.
That was a treat, I got to tell you.
Troy, of course, doing great stuff over at Fox.
You bet. Danny White's been in the business.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding, number 34, the return team. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 27 of the return team. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards, 1st down.
Accepted on Frampton. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, Des Bryant just came out of the locker room, Al. He was back there getting an IV for cramping, and I can tell you that even with the windows and the roof open, it's kind of humid and hot down here field level, so it's not a real surprise that someone might cramp up. In this case, it was Des.
All right, thank you, Michelle. It was 75 degrees at game time, but the air kind of is still in here, even though the windows are open, as Michelle said, the sides and the roof. Build up a little sweat in here, just spectating. Felix Jones is the running back as we start this drive from the 14. And Jones will take it out to the 17-yard line. Well, we start the game talking about Philadelphia, Chris, and all the things that they're going to have to do. And then you flip it around a little bit here for the Dallas Cowboys. And if they don't make the playoffs, then what? Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, the major domos of this organization, and Jason Garrett very much figuring in the mix. And second down and 8.
Some big money guys that are going to be discussed in the offseason.
And that's Felix Jones. I mean, the word, I think, to describe the Dallas Cowboys, not just this year, but over the last few years, confounding. Just when you think they're ready to make the next jump, something happens.
Yeah, and DeMarco Murray's such a big part of it, but Doug Freese getting a big paycheck. Miles Austin hasn't been available very much. Jay Ratliff has missed over half the games this season, and those are the guys that are eating up a lot of the salary. So are those conditions going to be chronic with the injuries, and will Doug Freese snap out of it? We're going to have to figure some of that stuff out.
Third down and 2. And Romo slings it down the sideline, and it's taken in by Bryant. Des Bryant makes the catch, a big first down, a gain of 35 on a 3rd and 2.
Now they're going to rock the safety down here, and as soon as Tony Romo sees that, he knows he has one-on-one on the outside. I mean, I just know how I would play. There would be at least 2 to 3 throws per game. Forget about it. You're playing in the street. Throw it up to this kid and give him a chance. Because when he goes up and gets the ball, they don't take it away from him.
Almost halfway through the 4th quarter. And Jones will take the ball to the 40-yard line for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7.
And that's the key. Whenever you play the Philadelphia Eagles, you have to produce on 1st and 2nd down. You look at what the Eagles have done this year. Teams have had success on 1st and 2nd down, so they haven't had those long yardage situations. The sack numbers are almost unbelievable for a team that was one of the dominant pressure teams in the NFL a season ago. I mean, a guy like Trent Cole, 1.5 sacks coming into this game. Their leader on their team with 3 sacks.
What happened, of course, was let go last week and is now in Jacksonville. And Romo throws over the middle. It's caught on the run by Witten. 1st and goal. Jason Witten again over the middle, all the way down to the 3-yard line. It's a gain of 36, 1st and goal.
Well, he's going to just come up and go down the post. We've talked about it a lot tonight. The middle of the field is open against this football team. They tend to level off. Nate Allen that time sort of levels out. And on the backside, Kurt Coleman way out of it over here. Here's the other safety. They just leave big gaps in the middle of the field that you can exploit with a guy like Jason Witten.
And Coleman is still down at the 3-yard line. Came in to make the tackle at the end. That play for 36 yards. Witten tonight, 6 grabs for 108 yards. An injury timeout for Coleman. See Coleman walking off the field. He was down for almost 2 full minutes after taking a shot to the head from, I think, the elbow of Witten. So they take him to the sideline. Of course, Witten, a very collegial and classy guy, goes over to give a little fist bump, and play resumes. DeMarco Murray is the back. It's 1st down and goal with 6.5 to go in regulation. And going nowhere, stopped in the backfield is Murray. Derek Landry is right there. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, Derek Landry made a few flash plays watching him play a week ago. They have plenty of depth along this defensive line. A lot of guys that can get penetration, get in the backfield, and they rotate so many guys in there. You know they're fresh, and the energy stays up throughout the whole game. Say anything you want about the Philadelphia Eagles. They work as hard defensively as anybody.
Colt Anderson taking the place of Coleman. Second and goal. Quick flip to the outside. Here's Bryant trying to work his way in and does. Touchdown. Dez Bryant getting around Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie to put the Cowboys on top.
Well, everybody knows Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, not the best tackler. You're going to give him that much space and a great runner like Dez Bryant. That is a no-brainer. You saw Tony Romo at the line of scrimmage give him a little signal. Might as well send a thank you note. Dez, the IV is kicking in.
I'll say. I'm going to get some of that. Second touchdown grab of the night for him. Foles warming up. It's the first time tonight that the Cowboys have had the lead. Dan Bailey tries to make it a 4-point advantage, and as I listed before, the snap.
False start. Number 78 in the offense. 5-yard penalty. Retry.
Jeremy Parnell.
I'll get you one of those IVs a little later.
Okay, yes. I'll return the favor, don't worry.
Well, Dez is doing what I think he should be doing. This is a guy that is a tremendous playmaker. He doesn't yet really understand all the nuances, all the reading the defenses, and he's going to get better and better and better. He's still a young guy, but physically, boy, I love to watch him compete.
Bailey converts, and with 5:35 remaining in the fourth, Cowboys trying to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Their first lead of the night, up by 4 against the Eagles. On Costas tonight, Bob will look back at the greatest sports moments with the biggest names of 2012. Costas tonight, it's Thursday, and you can check it out at 9 Eastern time on the NBC Sports Network. Good game tonight in Arlington, Texas, 31-27 Dallas, with Dan Bailey to kick off. It's the crossbar. We'll start at the 20, and we can tell you that Sunday Night Football is being brought to you by Sears. This is how to gift. This is Sears by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites. By The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey in theaters everywhere, December the 14th. And by McDonald's on Lebanon. It's the Chinese Lantern Festival located in Fair Park in front of the historic Cotton Bowl. Dallas, the displays handcrafted and built in China, then transported to the Lone Star State. Eagles trying to snap that 7-game streak. Ball is at the 20-yard line, first down. And here's Brown. Tries to cut it back. Josh Brent making the stop. So Andy Reid, longest tenure in the league, with one team took over in 99 for Ray Rhodes after Rhodes was there 4 years. A lot of success, but of course a man very much under the gun right now. Jeff Lurie, the owner of the team since the early 90s, and has really not experienced a year like this in his tenure. Second down and 8 from the 22. Foles throwing it away. But Chris, no matter what happens tonight, win or lose or whatever, Foles has been very impressive, and Brown is something else too.
Yeah, and I know the decisions are going to have to be made with Andy Reid, but even if he were to lose a job here, he's not going to be out of work long. It's going to be up to him when he decides to get back in. He's won too many football games in his career.
Totally agree. Third down and 8 from the 22. Stacking Macklin and Cooper off to the left, and it's so loud in here that a timeout has to be taken. 14 seasons with the Eagles. Back in '99, that's when they drafted Donovan McNabb. 17 wins against Dallas. 129 regular season wins, 6 NFC East titles. Been to 1 Super Bowl and 5 NFC championship games.
You know what I always think about with Andy is that he was one of the original guys that believed you should throw it much more than you ran it. You know, and he got criticized throughout his career. How can you do that? You can't win that way, blah, blah, blah. Well, now it's the norm, and everybody's doing it, and he kind of proved himself right.
Yep. Went against convention, whatever convention is. And a track record, as you say, Chris, he'll get some offers. Foles escapes, throws, and converts. Boy, I tell you, good mobility, moving to his left. DeMarcus Ware was chasing him, hits a bomb, gain of 19, first down.
Well, I don't know how he got away here because you're going to see Foles back out and Ware is going to take a clean shot. I think Ware is so conditioned to see quarterbacks step up that when Foles went the other way, Ware just took a swing and a miss. But what a big moment for the rookie. He stays focused. He's not looking to run it. He's looking to complete a pass. That was big.
At the 41-yard line. Rolling to his right, looking and then throwing a short pass to Macklin. You know, Chris, you think about the Eagles 4 years ago, everybody's saying, wow, they just got Michael Vick. You got Donovan McNabb. You got Kevin Cobb. You got 3 quarterbacks. And then they were wondering coming into last week's game and tonight's game if they had any.
Well, they've got one, and I think Mike Vick is, you know, you put those two together, 2 very different styles, but money always plays a factor in this league, as we well know. Those third-round picks sometimes a little cheaper.
2nd and 7. And they give it to Brown. And Brown loses the ball. The ball is loose. It is picked up by Claiborne. And Brown, who had 2 fumbles last week, puts it down on the ground, and the Dallas Cowboys turn it into a touchdown.
As well as Bryce Brown has played, he loses football games being loose with the ball. Josh Brent, who's made 2 or 3 plays here in the 4th quarter, stripped the ball out. And for Bryce Brown, the lack of experience in the NFL, the lack of experience in big moments and tucking the ball in a crowd, the Cowboys planned on going after it. The first turnover of the game is a huge one.
And they looked up at the board to see if it was something that they wanted to challenge, but it was very clear his knee was never down. The play was still alive. And it's a 50-yard return by Dallas's #1 draft choice.
Hard to imagine. You lose 2 the week before and you don't clean up the technique of carrying that ball. He was loose again tonight.
And you turn a 155-yard night on the ground, coming on top of last week, into a mini nightmare.
He is a talent. Nobody will ever deny that. But when you get in that position, there has to be 2 hands on the ball in the National Football League. If there's not, it's coming out. You know, as a young player, we all had to learn the hard way, and he just doesn't have enough experience to fully understand how talented these defenders are at getting the ball out. And Andy Reid, what do you say?
Yeah, what do you say?
You can't play. You cannot play running back no matter how talented you are until you learn how to hold on to the ball.
That would have set up a big 3rd and 2 had he held on to it. Instead, Claiborne off and running. You look at those numbers on the night. Foles, very impressive. Brown, you throw that out, very impressive. But here they are down by 11 and looking into the teeth of an 8-game losing streak.
Well, but you still have time. I mean, the NFL, you know, this is plenty of time. You got a young quarterback who's hot. Let's see what he's got.
Dan Bailey's kickoff. The Eagles will begin from the 20-yard line. Looking ahead, they have 2 timeouts, plus the clock will stop at the 2-minute warning. Get coverage of every NFL game, folks, with NFL Mobile. Call Star NFL to download or go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Downtown Big D. First Sunday night of December. Last time these two teams faced each other, the Cowboys scored on 3 returns: a punt return, an interception return, and a fumble return. And tonight they score on a fumble return to take an 11-point lead. As throws one that's almost intercepted right into the hands of Danny McRae.
Well, Nick Foles, like Bryce Brown's going to have to learn, you can't stare down where you're going to throw the ball in this league. It's funny, we were talking to Tom Brady, and he said, the only place on the field that you can eliminate where I'm going to throw the ball is where I'm looking at first. You know, you just forget that was not going there. And so another easier lesson learned for Nick Foles.
2nd and 10. And here goes Brown. And Brown will take this one out to the 33 and secures it there, a gain of 13. 4 return touchdowns for the Dallas in the 2 games against Philadelphia. How about the Eagles? The Eagles have not scored a single return touchdown this year. No kickoff return, no punt return, no interception return, no fumble returns.
Have you ever had one of those years?
Yep. From the 33, and that's thrown behind Brown. And a flag is down because Jeff Triplett
was a little laid in.
Personal foul.
Yep.
Roughing the passer, number 93. The defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
It's Anthony Spencer.
Well, in baseball, they say tie goes to the runner. In this league, tie goes to the quarterback. If it's close, they're throwing it. Just the way it is. Whether you like it, you don't like it. You used to play defensive end in high school. Doesn't matter. That's the way they're calling it now. Marcus Ware having to catch his breath.
Rob Ryan's defense trying to secure the win. The ball at the 48-yard line. A dump off screen to Brown. And Brown able to stay on his feet and get to the midfield stripe.
Well, we talked about it early in the game. Bryce Brown tends to be a little loose with the football. You can see it just swinging out away from his body. I mean, you just can't do it in this league. Tends to do it in the open field, but a lot of times you think you're in the open field and you're really not. And one hand on the ball when a guy the size of Josh Brent is tackling you is not enough.
2nd and 8 against the 4-man rush, and he gets sacked and stripped. Victor Butler came in, and the Eagles were able to maintain possession, but Butler came from the blind side to force the fumble, and the Eagles retained possession. But it is going to be, after an 11-yard loss, 3rd and 19.
And Dunlop came into the game with a bad knee, and you can see he's just not quite able to get off the ball. And well, Victor Butler's made 2 or 3 plays in this second half.
Now on 3rd and long, they're going to give the ball to Brown on a curious call. He takes it to the 40-yard line. Anthony Spencer makes the tackle, and he'll have to go for it on 4th down and 18.
You know, it just looks a whole lot like a Philadelphia Eagles game this year. You know, they hang in, they do some good things, and well, we hit the end of the game and they do some not so good things.
4th down and 18. And they won't even get the play off before the 2-minute warning. They have 2 timeouts on the other side of this. 2 minutes to go. Cowboys trying to get back to 500, get back into the playoff hunt, up by 11. So it's 4th down and 18. Last gasp for the Philadelphia Eagles. As you can see, they have to get to the Dallas 42-yard line to retain possession. And right off the bat, you got DeMarcus Ware. That's going to turn it into a 4th and 13.
That definitely helps.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Because that brings in a whole bunch of plays in the playbook that were unavailable before. But they're going to try this with a 3-man rush. They have 8 guys in coverage. So Foles has the ability, if he wants to buy a little time back there and let his receivers work down the field.
Macklin wide left, Cooper wide to the right. Avant is in the slot. And Foles hangs in the pocket, then throws to the 49. Selleck cannot get the first down. He can only get to the 45-yard line, and Dallas will take over on downs.
I think they watched Ray Rice's highlight from last week too much.
Right. Coming up after the game, Wendy's post-game report. Michelle with the star of the game, or stars of the game on the field. Bob, Tony, and Mike wrap it up. Look at other league news. Chris and I will look ahead to next Sunday night when we will be in Green Bay, no doubt with the roof open, against Detroit. Coming up right after the game. Tony Romo, look at that, 10 for 10 in this half.
Wow.
3 touchdowns. And I guess if you want to go back to the biggest play of the night for Dallas, it's a challenge on what would have been losing the ball on downs. And now they give it to Murray. And make Philadelphia use its timeouts. They have 2. And we go back to Tony Romo's big night.
Well, despite the pressure, Tony Romo won this game with his ability to escape pressure. He's been in and out, scrambling around, making quick throws, running when he needed to run, breaking down that 2-man coverage. And you know what's kind of strange for me, Al, is that people almost get mad at you if you say you think that Tony Romo is a good quarterback. You know, if you're a quarterback in Dallas and you don't have Super Bowl rings, you stink. Well, this football team is nowhere close to what they had back when they were winning championships. And I think that it's time that some people understand what they're winning. They're winning due in large part to Tony Romo, not the losses because of it.
Yep. So Candace Romo, they give the ball to Murray. Because people get mad at you if you say a quarterback is elite or he's not elite. Is that the most overused nonsense in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
You're elite, by the way. I think you're an elite commentator.
My man Phil Simms said 3 guys were elite, and then the roof fell in on him. Yeah, there you go. Jerry Jones going to be happy with this one for the Eagles. You know, offensively, they did some good things, but then ultimately, what's undone them the entire season? A turnover.
Yep. Got him again. And that challenge by Garrett, you go back to that, and you know it looked like Murray made the first down. They didn't give it to him. They had to challenge it, and that enabled Dallas to keep the ball when they were down by 7 at that point early in the 4th quarter, and go down the field and score. Otherwise, Philly would have taken over with a 7-point lead. And 3rd and 9, and they can take the play clock all the way down to under a minute. Murray will go nowhere. Keeps that clock running, and they can now take the clock down into about the 55-second mark before punting it away.
Yeah, and his agent just called and said, don't give up the 25 yards that you've gained here tonight. You've had a great night, and just gave back a bunch.
Eagles tonight, 423 yards of offense, and Dallas 417. That Dallas running game, which was worse than the league coming in, may move up a notch or two with 124. Romo telling Triplett he's had a great night.
Just that one reversal.
That's right. And for Jeff Lurie, it's a trip back to Philadelphia. A lot of things to think about, but there's no question about the Eagles as a franchise and how consistent they've been and how steady they've been. And if Andy Reid's not back, Chris, you're right. I don't think there's any question he's going to be on the list of teams looking for a coach.
And there's going to be a lot of people wanting to be on the list to be the Eagles coach too, because there is a lot of talent on this football team. They just had one of those years.
Well, They play well. They've been stable through the years. This year's been a disaster, but you know, it happens. Mormon to punt. Booming kick. Fielded to 3 by Damaris Johnson. And Johnson is off inside the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, a touchdown for a guy who fields a punt inside his 5-yard line and goes 98 yards.
And now you go for 2. Now you go for
Absolutely.
2 because then a field goal, an onside kick and a field goal gives you a chance. And somewhere people are saying only the Cowboys can allow a 98-yard punt return with a game on the line.
That's tied for the 3rd longest punt return in the history of the National Football League. It's the Eagles' first return touchdown of the season. So a guy who shouldn't even field that punt to begin with does and goes 98.
Unbelievable. You know, this is going to get interesting. You got one of the most accurate kickers in the history of the game. If you could make this and get an onside kick, who knows?
2-point conversion right here. Macklin wide to the right. Avant in the slot. Cooper wide to the left to try to get within 3. Take the end around. Throw, and it's incomplete. So now you're going to need a touchdown.
Oh my goodness, he had Bryce Brown right in front of him. He could have thrown it underhand to him with nobody around. Oh, he just made the decision coming out. See Bryce Brown right there. There's nobody around.
Has his eyes on Avant, and it's incomplete.
Or run it in. There was,
Yeah,
I mean, there was just nobody there.
And he knows it too. So now you need to recover an onside kick and get a touchdown.
Oh boy. Jerry looked so comfortable a minute ago.
Oh man. Tony with his helmet on him. Just has to hope he has a chance to come back out with that offense. As the Cowboys, of course, will press the 45-yard line. Kick would have to go 10 yards before an Eagle can touch it, assuming a Cowboy doesn't.
Well, now they've set up Jason Witten right here to be the catcher. These guys will come up and block if it comes this way.
And Henry sending it back toward Witten. So one of the reasons you put Witten in the game is for that play. Right there. Kicking it in Witten's direction. He's able to secure it, and that's going to secure a Dallas victory.
Well, as it should be. When the game's on the line, what did Jason Garrett say? I want 82 to be involved in the play. And he was again.
Even if it's not a kickoff return.
Riley Cooper just tried to jump over the world and get it.
So the Eagles out of timeouts. One kneel down will end it. The Cowboys will go to 6-6. Will have swept the 2 games with the Eagles in this rivalry. It won't be easy for Dallas, though. They go to Cincinnati next week. The Bengals keep winning. Then they'd get Pittsburgh and New Orleans here back-to-back. And end the year with the Redskins. So for Andy Reid, it's an 8th consecutive loss. They go to 3-9. Head to Tampa next week. And the Cowboys, well, it seems like every week's a must-win.
But they're back in it.
This one really was. Wendy's postgame report coming up on the other side of the break. Stick around.